Once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess living in this castle with many servants. She was always monotonous with her life. She was so bored with this luxurious life. Spring came, the sweet blossom blowers. Her heart was extremely excited, so the princess decided to travel incognito as a commoner. Her experience was like any other people around her outside the castle. However, it could not hide her gorgeous beauty, and accidentally it got the attention of the robbers. She and her maidservants went for a walk along the river, watching the beach blossom drift slowly and enjoying the fresh breeze. Suddenly, a band of robbers surrounded them. They wanted the princess to follow them. Yet he declined. They immediately raced against her. The robbers sneaked two guards and swung the knife to skew them. If you want to touch her, you must cover my dead body. A handsome man with tatter clothes arose. Keep your mouth out of my business, the robber said angrily. And of course, he said no. After that, the men got into a fight and knocked out the robbers. However, they were injured. How are you? The ranger asked, and then wrapped the handkerchiefs around his bleeding wound. No problem, thank you. He smiled. Can you tell me your name? The ranger looked at him with a strange thrilling dancing around in her heart. My name is Philip. And how about you? You can call me Melibrana. Here's my friend. Her name is Daisy. They looked at each other in their eyes. Both felt the transform with the other. Their faces were blushing. The blossoms were so beautiful, the man said. Teresa took a deep breath, as if she were enjoying the fresh air and feeling the cool breeze. The two remained silent. They felt it. She admired him for his bravery in saving her from robbers. He adored her because of the beautiful, gentle appearance of a young woman. Philip picked up a speech blossom petal and put it in her hair. Their eyes met. They saw a gentle touch in their hearts. You are so gorgeous. The princess did not anything. She bowed her head. She just wished this moment would be eternity, so that she could see the face of the man she loved more clearly. Her life in the castle was so crammed, calculated, and malicious. This was the first time she felt the warmth of love. She wanted to stay here forever with that man standing in front of her. But she was a princess. The distance between them was too big. Will father follow me to be with her commoner? She thought. Your handkerchief is so beautiful. And look at the handkerchief wrapped around his injured arm. If you like it, you can keep it. The shy princess said. My princess, we are looking for you all day. They returned to the castle. Not saying that, the soldier returned to a young man and shouted. What are you up to? Phyllis was silent. His eyes turned grey, as if the fly just left them. The corner of his eyes bitterly thought, That's impossible. I'm afraid I have to leave now. Philip suddenly broke up their thick atmosphere. I have to see you again, the princess said. After that, he left, leaving the racer watching his indifferently back shadow. That day, even though they were far apart, they both constantly talked about each other and envisioned the future. Could be the only last meeting between the two of them.
That year, the rebels captured the country. The king's conquest left the neighboring countries in ruins, and they rose to fight back. After many days of fighting, both sides gradually lost their strength and still inconclusively battled. They have caused a lot of pain and loss to the people. The war was getting more and more intense, and the enemy's troops were getting closer and closer to the citadel. The people in the city were scattered. Children lost their fathers, and wives lost their husbands. Life was tragic and miserable. After days of spying, everyone finally knew who the leader was. Philip, the prince of the neighboring country, who was sent over to the kingdom to spy on the situation. And that news was accidentally entered the princess's ear. However, her face was strangely calm, and she said, "I want to be alone." Everyone got out of the room. That night, she just sat there silently. An empty and lonely space surrounded her. A new day was dawning. A bird flew by the window and sang a beautiful rhythm. The princess put on a gorgeous dress and stepped out of the room, looked at everyone, and asked, "Am I beautiful?" "You look dashing, my lady," the maid said. "Prepare me a good horse," she commanded. "For what, my princess?" The princess was silent, as if she was about to do something. The battlefield was brutal that day. The princess galloped while the two sides were still fighting fiercely. "What are you doing?" Both the king and Philip shouted in unison. "Philip, I have a question for you. Do you love me?" "I love you, Melirona," he answered, with a dread of something about to happen. "Stop the war. Many people have suffered because of it." "Never! I have to recover our country's independence. You know that." "After that, you will be my queen," Philip shouted. "I see." Then she drew her sword. Drops of blood on the battlefield were like petals falling on the ground. Both the king and Philip ran to her side. While she took her last breath, she whispered, "Promise me, stop the war." That spring, the peach blossoms were still in bloom, but something was missing. The young man held the handkerchief. Look at the river. The petals fell and flowed in the water.